I think the biggest part for us is really helping dentists. Being in dentistry for so long and seeing all the nuances and all the kind of intricacies from a business perspective. They're great clinicians. They spend their whole career helping patients. It's our time to be able to help them make sure the transition is smooth and they get this legacy of, 30, 25, 30 years of dentistry, their patients, their loyalty to their patients and the care they've given makes us feel good.
Yeah, I think for me, I've been involved in every aspect of dentistry, from clinical to management to business development, marketing, software training, the whole 9 yards. So I've seen the business of dentistry from a bunch of different perspectives. And this opportunity, working with DDSmatch is an elevated level of service, I think, for the dentists that, we work with and we help. I think that it makes the most impact because a lot of times it's very difficult for dentists to be excellent clinicians and also excellent businessmen or women. And so it just is an opportunity for us to really kind of step in and understand what they do, and, lead with our giving hand and really serve them through the process of, realizing their goal of the entirety, the full scope of their career from start to finish. Start yesterday. No, the best time to start is immediately now. I think we always say this about almost anything that we're doing. We need to start with the end in mind. And if we do that, then we can reverse engineer everything else to get the greatest value, the greatest value out of the entirety of the process. But at the end of the day, when we're selling the thing that we've created, we're going to get the most value for it and feel the best about the product that we've created, the baby that we've, babied along the entirety of our career.
Yeah, I think the more time you have, the better. So yes, now. So if you're looking to sell tomorrow, there's not a lot of time to plan and actually get these things in order. Whereas we say 2 years, probably minimum, 3 to 5 is probably better. Actually be able to run them through the process of what the next steps are and what to look for and what things to potentially untangle as they're going through the process.
I think with our unique perspective too, we're able to look inside the practice. And even if you're not, 3, 5, 6 years out, and that's optimal because we have time to actually optimize the practice from the viewpoint of, even insurance contracts and fee schedule negotiations and things like that, equipment, technology, like going in and updating the practice if necessary. But even if it's a year until you are ready to retire, with our unique ability to kind of look inside the practice, we can always identify some areas that can be optimized or strategize to maximize that value of the practice.
I think the buyer's expectation at the beginning, obviously they're looking for a good practice in the right location with the types of dentistry they want to do, right? I think the other side of that is obviously it's a purchase, so the price of what they're going to be getting and what they're getting for, whether, again, the look and feel of the office, the equipment that's in the office, the technology that's in the office, the team. So it's just really, again, you want to find the right fit for who the buyer is and then also for the seller. Again, I said earlier, there's so much time put into building this business, right? They want to be able to hand off that legacy in a way that's uniform and, again, continues that level of care for the patients as well.
Yeah, I think it's also important for the seller to understand the buyer's perspective and that, they're purchasing this practice because they want that immediate access to patients and to be able to, generate revenue, the revenue that those patients represent. And also they're looking for the support and the trust of the seller, because that resonates down to not only the patients, but the team too. So, caring for it. They're investing a lot in this. And I think that it's important for the seller to really realize that and think about, even if there's a work back or a mentorship opportunity, they really need they built this practice, it's their baby, but this buyer is investing a considerable amount, financially, emotionally, every which way, to step in and take, the reins here. I think it's important for the seller to understand that at this point, they're going to need to step back and kind of support this transition for the betterment of the entirety of the process, the patients, the team, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I think with DDSmatch, we are trusted transition specialists, to your point. There are the individual brokers that represent the buyer and the seller. They've probably got local relationships. They've probably done some deals, but there's a level that's missed with the relationships that we can provide from attorneys and CPAs and getting third-party valuations. I think that stands out drastically because we're not on our own, which means they're not on their own as well.
I think it's really important. The first step in our trusted transitions process is a vision alignment too. And I think that's what sets DDSmatch professionals apart from a lot of the other industry, the brokers in the industry, is that we lead with high intent. Our intention is to connect with the doctor and to understand what that seller's goals are for not only for the transition or the transaction itself, but for their future, because now they've got another 20, 25 years that they get to go and, do whatever it is that they want to do. So we want to know what their goals are for their future.
It's a very emotional transition. We try to not use the word transaction. Yes, there is a transaction that's part of the ending process, but there's even the post-transaction and there's the post, what does life look like beyond? Again, having those goals and visions of what the future is going to look like and how both parties end up feeling good. I think the idea that this is something that they've built, they've gone to school for, and they've done and built over decades of time, right? It's not something to them. There is a lot of emotion here. Like, I'm sending this off to the next person and they want that to be smooth. So yes, I think transparency, communication is key across everything we do, setting proper timelines, making sure, again, that we're reviewing any kind of documentations. Again, whether we have attorneys involved and CPAs involved and real estate's involved, you want to make sure that everything is obviously transparent. And the more clear and put together that is, obviously that's going to be good for the seller as well, because they're going to be able to see the due diligence has been done in a very clear way.
Probably the biggest role that the transitions professional plays in the whole transitions process is just managing every minute detail, right? So making sure that from start to finish, the doctor gets to go and sit down and think about the dentistry that he's doing, focus on his patients, focus on the business. And the transitions professional is there to facilitate, all of the information gathering, all of the, the matchmaking process, the reaching out to buyers, facilitating that whole process. But I think that when that is happening, they're really functioning as a mediator too. So even, you have emotions happening from the seller's aspect, you have emotions coming in on the buyer's side too. You are that not really impartial, but mostly impartial or unbiased mediator of both sides of that equation.